Welcome back. In this part, we will cover when can private provision overcome the free rider problem in public goods. Chapter 7 is all about public goods. We talked about the properties of public goods and why public goods are underprovided by the private individuals and private groups. So if you don't understand what I'm saying right now, go back to part 1 and part 3 of chapter 7. Let's get started. The free rider problem clearly exists when public goods are to be provided privately. Remember in Bangladesh, the trash collection issue? The great news is that there are some cases private markets are able to overcome this to some extent, okay? So, private market may still fall short of the socially optimal level of public goods, okay? So examples of private provision of public good, for instance, privately financed firework displays on 4th of July, right? Privately owned British lighthouses until 1842. In the United Kingdom, the lighthouses used to guide the ships because before this GPS technology, all these technologies, they would guide the ships and they were privately provided. As the ships passed, they were paying them some fees, which is very strange, but they did provide public goods. Let's talk about business improvement districts. So the quality of any city streets are public good. So when I visited New York City first time in 2006, long time ago, maybe before you were born, right? I was shocked because there were piles of trash. Now, this is even before my time, right, in New York City. In 1980s, New York City's Times Square had high crime rate and had many social problems. The city had given up on cleaning up the Times Square, okay? There's actually a movie about the most violent year. It's called, I believe, about New York City. Okay, in 1992, local businessmen started BIDs, Business Improvement Districts. It's a legal entity that provides security, sanitation, and all those things with fees collected from local businesses. So New York law makes participation compulsory if bid organizers can get 84% of local businesses to join. So if you can lock in 84% of everybody, then everybody is supposed to buy into the system. So organizers have to overcome the free rider problem, right? This helps organizers actually overcome if they can let 84%, if they can achieve this goal. So bid was a clear success in New York City. Massachusetts law allows businesses to opt out of bid within 30 days of the bid approval by the local government. So you can opt out, then it deters formation of bids, and then there are fixed costs of doing so anyways, right? It's costly to agree on this. For instance, bids are like HOAs. So my home, regrettably, but also I feel kind of lucky, is a part of an HOA. So all my neighbors have to keep their yards nice and trimmed. I pay very small fee per month for my HOA. But I cannot opt out of this HOA, right? I bought this house, I need to. So it forms and everything is kept at certain standards. You cannot just leave your trash outside all day, so on and so forth. Okay, because there is an opt-out clause, some people were like, oh, you know what, I'm not interested. They sign off. So these 30-day opt-out clause deterred formation of bids at first place because of cost of doing so. As I said, only 3 bids were formed in Massachusetts. So you need to make it a little bit compulsory. All right. So under what circumstances are private market forces likely to solve the free rider problem? We have some cases. Number 1, intense preferences. Number 1. Number 2, altruism. Number 3, warm glow effect. Okay, we're going to talk all about these. These are such fun topics. One of my favorite topics in public finance. So under these conditions, private market forces likely to provide public good. So warm glow effect is very fun. It's utility from one's own contribution to the public good. You feel just proud, Okay, let's continue. Number one is intense preferences. Some individuals care more than others. If some individuals have high demand for a public good PG, private provision may emerge, not necessarily efficiently, but we will have these public goods. Examples. So coming up, but providing a public good is a function of one's utility you get from the total amount of public good net of cost. Let's say I'm obsessed with fireworks, and guess what? 4th of July, I spent $500,000. I don't have that kind of money. Okay, just FYI. I'm joking. Let's say I'm super rich. I just love fireworks. I love people gathering with their families. Nobody's paying me. I am the one who pays for all the fireworks. Net of course, I'm getting so much happiness. Then maybe I spend $500,000 for everybody to enjoy. So if you have to get a lot of enjoyment and you have to have money to support this, so you will choose to purchase more public good even though it benefits all others too. Financing of the NATO was volunteer organization at the time. Countries had incentive to free ride not to join the NATO. But the largest nations, USA, did contribute largely, so it formed. So we had very strong preferences to form NATO. Another example could be higher incomes and stronger taste mitigate the free rider problem to some extent. So click on this. This is the City Gardens of St. Louis.org. So I visited St. Louis for a conference maybe 10 years ago, and there was a City Gardens private park with security and amazing sculptures and beautiful landscaping. It turns out it's a private property. So we may have these one-off, right? City gardens provided by private owners donating to local government, but they're unlikely to solve it completely. Not everybody is building gardens and beautiful sculpture gardens. So definitely go to the website www.citygardensstl.st.louis.org. You will love it. So strong preferences and some money will help provision of public goods, but they will still be underprovided. Second one is altruism. Altruism is basically, this is caring about the outcomes of others and others' utility. So evidence that many people are actually altruistic. You care about the outcomes of others as well as themselves. Okay, so lab experiments have been becoming really popular in economics, still are popular. So there was an experiment incentive for college students to contribute to a pool of money, right? They're giving some tokens. They're given an option to contribute or keep. So dominant and self-interested strategy will be not to contribute and keep all the tokens to yourself and then cash out for money. So interesting though, between 30 to 70% of participants contributed to the public good, that pool of money, even though they didn't have to. So as the experiment was repeated, contributions did fall but never reached to 0%. That means people are altruistic. They do care about the society as well too. So these experiments may be of limited capacity because they're in the lab. Maybe people are being watched like, okay, maybe I should contribute a little bit because professor or the experimenters will think not very highly of me. You know, individuals may behave differently in a controlled lab setting. So, you know, stakes are small in the lab setting. These are tokens and cost of being altruistic is low. Maybe samples not representative of the general population. These are college students, right? So, however, real world evidence is consistent with altruism in a private support of public goods. For instance, a study shows that number of public radio listeners who contribute decreased only modestly as the total number of listeners increased in terms of public radio, NPR, National Public Radio. What happens every year, twice a year, they ask for contributions, right? They may give you a tote bag or a pen for your contributions, but it's found that as the number of population goes up in the area, contributions do fall, but not by tremendously. So some people may be thinking about the general population. So pro-altruistic behavior is there. Warm glow is the most interesting one. Warm glow model says that individuals care about both the total amount of public good and their particular contributions as well when those particular contributions are publicized. So they may get psychological benefit from knowing that they helped a worthy cause, and especially if that contribution is advertised a little bit. So result is that public good becomes more like a private good. Hey, I contribute to the American Heart Association, or I contribute to the Ronald McDonald House, helping people, children with cancer, to have free stays when they're getting treatment, which I really like that cause. Okay, so public good becomes like a private good, though it doesn't fully solve the under provision issue. So an example of warm glow effect, one of my friend's husband, they lived in rural West Virginia town, okay? And in that town, there was no official fire station fully funded. Therefore, that fire station needed a lot of volunteers. So her husband used to volunteer in that fire station. So we were volunteer firemen, right? And he really liked that license plate that said volunteer firefighter. So that's a warm glow effect. I am not only creating public good total amount, but I'm just proud of myself contributing it. Or if you slap little in the rear end of your car, you slap that sticker that says donating to this cause, right? You are getting warm glow effect. Okay, so let's take a look at some example practice question. Which of these do not reduce the problem of under provision of public goods? Which of them does not? Which of these does not reduce the problem of under provision of public goods? Business improvement districts, yes they do. Social capital, vertical summation. So government intervention, yes, government can actually provide it directly. Social capital means that pro-social behavior, really caring about society. True. Vertical summation is the one that does not reduce the problem. Vertical summation is how we basically adopt the preference of people to determine the level of public goods. Okay? So I will see you in part 4. Very exciting. We're talking about public provision of public goods. So how our government should provide certain goods such as roads, education, and other water supplies, trash collection, and other things. And we are going to talk about crowding out of public provision when government provides public goods. If let's say I used to have this $500,000 fireworks show now government is doing, maybe I'll be like, you know what, government is doing already, so I'm not going to do it anymore. I'll see you in part 4. Don't forget to hit the like button on this video, please, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you will never miss a video from me. I'll talk to you later. Bye folks.